day and welcome back to this new edition of Sir-Kenneth's Talk Show. Today we'll be talking about my top 10 favorite animated movies of all time. So anyone who knows me knows how much I love animated movies, so that's what we'll be talking about today. But before we do so, please, you know what to do. Hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't for more content from Sir-Kenneth. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we'll start the top 10. We'll start from number 10 and we'll count down to number 1. And so at number 10 we have We Don't Talk About Bruno. No. Yes, that's right. You guessed right. Encanto. Encanto is like one of my favorite animated movies of this decade. I mean, the music and everything, the storyline, the depth which the story has. I mean, it's so beautiful. I mean, it's about this magical Colombian family. You know, they have magical powers except for one of their children, Mirabel, who doesn't have like a miracle power. So at a certain point in the movie, you know, their powers begin to fade away, and Mirabel is the only one who can save, you know, the family's miracles. So I love this story because it has a lot of depth in it. The music is amazing. I mean, Lin-Manuel Miranda's pen game is really strong. Kudos to him and respect to everyone on this who worked on this movie because it's so beautiful. And for what it's worth, Encanto won the Oscar for the best animated movie in 2022. Yeah, because I think it came out in December 2021, so it won the award in 2022. So I love Encanto. If you haven't checked it out, please do. The music is really addictive and amazing. Okay, yeah. And number 9 we have Baby Boss. Now Baby Boss, it's funny because most of my favorite animated movies are either Disney or Pixar, but Baby Boss isn't either of them. It isn't produced by either of those companies, but it's still a really beautiful story. It's about this, you know, this boss baby literally who comes from baby core. Baby core is where babies come from according to the movie. Yeah, so it's about this boss baby who comes in and, you know, tries to settle a few things on earth before he goes back like to the land of babies. But somehow at the end of the movie, he somehow enjoys the comfort of family and decides to stay and become a regular baby. You know, so the story is really beautiful. And you know, Alec Baldwin, who plays the lead, I think he did a great job voicing the boss baby. You know, and I also kudos to Lisa Kudrow too, who voiced the mother of the baby. If you don't know who Lisa Kudrow is, she played Phoebe on Friends, the famous 90s sitcom Friends. Yeah, so that's it for Boss Baby. If you haven't watched it, please do check it out. There is a sequel. I think there's a sequel. The movie has a sequel, but I'm really a bigger fan of, you know, the first movie. But the sequel isn't bad either. It's great as well. But it didn't make it to my top 10 list. Yeah, but it's a good movie though. Yeah. At number 8 we have Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4. Now it's really, I love Toy Story 4, but it's not like the other Toy Story movies are bad. I love the fourth movie because it's more relatable, at least to me. You know, I love the fact that Woody moved on from, you know, being a regular toy, like a regular house. I mean, a regular house toy. I mean, at the end of the movie, he realized that okay, his place isn't in a home with a child anymore because, you know, his owner, his main owner, who is Andy. Andy, I think he went off to college in Toy Story 4. So there's a new kid in the movie, and the kid like is like venturing with her own toys and her own taste of toys. So I feel like, you know, this story is more relatable to me because, you know, there are certain things at times in life you move on from certain things, not because you don't like them or you hate them. It's just because, you know, those things have had your time in your life and you just need to move on to new things. And I think it's really relatable to each and every one of us. Okay, you know, when you leave college, when you leave secondary school, I mean, you leave the secondary school life, you're in a new world. The same thing when you leave the university, you leave university life behind you, and, you know, you focus now on the future. I think it's really relatable. That's what made me really love Toy Story 4, and it's really for the general audience. Okay, it's not just for kids, so adults watch it as well. And kudos to Tom Hanks, who has been playing Woody for almost 30 years. Well, no, 20, well, more than 20 years, but not up to 30 years. Yeah, so kudos to everyone on the Toy Story team. At number 7 we have A Bug's Life. Now, A Bug's Life, the funny thing about A Bug's Life is it's one of the first animated movies I ever watched. Ever since I was born. It's like one of the first I ever watched. It's not the first though, but it's one of the first. And I love A Bug's Life. You know, the story is really so funny. It's about this ants colony. You know, they work every day. They toil really hard, you know, to feed, you know, their bullies who are grasshoppers. Yeah, and somehow there is this one aunt who is like off, like I think his name is Flake. Yeah, his name is Flake. He's like off, like he always causes trouble. Not unknowing. He doesn't cause it knowingly though. It's unknowingly, and he messes up at a certain point, and like the whole colony is like really pissed at him, and he's like, okay, he's gonna go and find help, like to clean up the mess he has made. And okay, sorry, let's continue. Once he leaves this colony, the rest of the colony doesn't think it's actually gonna come back. Okay, they're like, okay, wow, we've gotten rid of him, but he actually comes back with some strange looking animals, strange looking insects. I think there was a spider, there was a butterfly, a praying mantis, a ladybird, a caterpillar, and amongst others. I can't remember all the other insects, but it's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful story. But the bottom line, at the end of the story, Flake becomes the hero. He's like the hero of the colony. In spite of everything they've been through, and in spite of everything he puts them through. Okay, and that's why I really love this story, because there are a lot of lessons to be learned in it. Okay, and number six we have Aladdin. Now the funny thing about Aladdin is I only watched Aladdin after I watched the remake in 2019. Okay, please don't be mad at me, but that's when I watched Aladdin for the first time. And I actually watched it after watching the remake. After I watched the remake, I was like, okay, let me watch the animated movie and see what it looks like. And it's really, really impressive. And I was like, wow, I really missed out on my whole childhood not watching Aladdin, because it's like one of the best of the best. The music is amazing. I mean, Alan Menken, he's like the Lin Manuel Miranda of the 90s, or maybe Lin Manuel Miranda is like the Alan Menken of the 2020s. I think it's better than I mean Alan Menken came first, respectfully, but they are both great. Either way, they're both great. So I think Alan Menken's pen game is really strong. He wrote the soundtrack for Aladdin and other famous Disney movies like The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Beauty and the Beast, and The Little Mermaid. And all of these movies have really, really amazing soundtracks, thanks to Alan Menken. So kudos, shout out to Alan Menken and the rest of the team, the Aladdin team. I think the movie is really, really, really amazing. Yeah. And number five, we have Frozen. Let it go, let it go. I mean, this movie when it came out in 2013, everyone was like, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. I mean, it's a really, really interesting story. I mean, it has a lot of depth in it. It's not just a story for kids, or it doesn't have a specific audience. I mean, the story is so relatable. Um, it teaches us how to, fight our insecurities, and, open up, to people. Like, we are all, everyone, I feel like every one of us has like a secret battle we're fighting, not wanting to tell other people because we feel like it's not going to help. But Frozen teaches us like to be open minded, and let people into our lives, help us like get better, better people. And I love the storyline in Frozen, and I love that Elsa isn't portrayed as a regular Disney princess who's waiting for her Prince Charming to save her. She is like a boss, like a real boss. She rules her own kingdom. There is no prince who saves her from anything. She saves herself from everything, and I really, really respect her for that. Okay, so kudos to Elsa and her sister Anna. Like, they are the best. They are the best. I mean, the soundtrack too is fire. The songs are amazing. Everything about Frozen is really, really amazing, and it's, for what it's worth, it's the highest grossing Disney animated movie of all time. I mean, the Lion King held that record for so long, but Frozen beat that record in 2013 when it came out. So kudos to Frozen. But however, The Lion King, the most animated Disney movie of all time, is The Lion King remake that came out in 2019. So somehow The Lion King found its way back to the top. Yeah. But I love both movies though, yeah. And so that's it for number five. At number four, we have Shrek 2. Shrek 2. I think it's really funny because normally the first movies of a franchise are always my favorite, but I think I prefer Shrek 2 because I watched it first before watching Shrek 1, before watching the first Shrek movie, and Shrek the third. I think Shrek 2 was actually the first Shrek movie I watched. The others are great though, but I really prefer the second movie. Like, it has a lot of lessons to be learned in it too. And shout out to Cameron Diaz and Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Antonio Banderas, who did their damn thing on this movie. Like it's really, really, really amazing. And for what it's worth, the Shrek movie, that's the first Shrek movie, was actually the first animated movie to win the Academy Award for best animated movie. I think that category was introduced in the early 2000s, and it's around that time that Shrek came out, and it was the first animated movie to win that award. So congrats to the Shrek team. So that's it for number four. So number three. Before I go to number three, I would like to say that number three and number two. At times my number three is my number two, and my number two is number three. So it's really difficult to rank these two movies. But anyway, today I feel like my number three is Coco. Like Coco is like I love that movie, and it's really, really, really emotional. There are a lot of emotional moments in this movie that make you cry, like you start bawling like a baby. But the music, like I said, is amazing. I don't know, Mexican music always sounds good. I don't think there's one bad Mexican song. Like just the language and everything, the accent, even when they're singing in English. I mean, the accent is so beautiful. And I love the music in the movie, and the storyline is so, so beautiful. I mean, there's a lot of meaning to it, to the story, and it's very relatable as well. There's a lot of deception in our society, and that's what Coco put. That's the story told in Coco, like a man who was deceived by someone he thought was his friend, and and that cost him like his family. Literally cost him his family. As Coco's great grandfather was literally being forgotten by his family, but thank no, sorry, Coco is his great. The kid is Miguel's great grandfather. I think Coco is the name of is Miguel's grandmother, who happens to be his great grandfather's daughter. Yeah, it's quite tricky. So, yeah, so Miguel, he's like the hero in the story. He goes around the dead, brings memories of his great grandfather back to his home, and it's a beautiful story at the end, and everyone is happy. Yeah, so I really, really love Coco. Yeah, and that's it. And for number two, we have Sing Two. Sing Two. Like I said, my favorite movies of the franchise. Though this isn't a franchise yet, it has just two movies. I actually watched Sing 2 before watching the first Sing movie. Okay, and it's really, really, really funny because Sing 2 came out in 2021 around the same time with Encanto, whereas the first Sing movie came out way back in 2016, and I had never heard about it before. I think it's really strange that I never heard about Sing before, because normally I love musicals, and Sing and Sing 2 are musicals, and the cast is quite star-studded too. We have Reese Witherspoon, Pharrell Williams, Tori Kelly, Matthew McConaughey, Scarlett Johansson. Like there are quite some big names in that movie. Okay, and I think it's a shame that I heard about it only last year. But anyway, I watched Sing 2 and I really, really loved it. The first movie is great though, but Sing 2 is epic. I mean, like there's nothing else left to say about it. Sing 2 is really epic. I love how it portrays like the lives of theater performers, like what they go through behind the scenes, and the struggles. They made it really, really relatable to real life situations. That's why I really, really love the sing to and sing as well, but whatever I was sing to, yeah. And I also love the fact that each song performed by a character was like, narrating, like describing, the current condition, the current situation of the character. And my favorite characters are the pigs, Rosita and Gunter. I really, really love them. Like they're a whole vibe. I know whenever I'm watching Sing 2, when it's towards the end, like the finale performance, I'm always looking forward to Rosita and Gunter's performance because it's so spectacular, and epic. Yeah, and I just love them. Yeah, and everyone and all the other characters as well. Yeah, so Sing 2 is really, 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 really a great animated movie. Yeah. So before we go to number one, I would like to give some honorary mentions. Sing, that's the first Sing movie. The Princess and the Frog, Princess Tiana, the first Black Disney princess. Kudos. Hercules, like I said. Hercules, I think the soundtrack was also was also composed by Alan Menken, and the music is really great, and the story is great as well. It's a great story. I think so, yes, and it's really, really amazing. Check Hercules out if you haven't. Shrek 1 and 3, Shrek 1 and Shrek the Third, I love them. Mm. And the Lorax, just like Baby Boss, isn't Pixar and it isn't Disney. But I think it's a really really beautiful story because like the story is like really very relatable to real life, like most of the other movies, and which is why I love it as well. And there is this one. It's not a musical, but there is this one song they perform in the movie. It's called "Let It Grow." You can check it out on YouTube. "Let It Grow" from the Lorek. The song is really beautiful. I mean, if you listen to the lyrics, I mean, they're saying a lot in that song. So that's what I love about the Lorek. So that's it for the honorary mentions. And now, number one. Number one is, drumroll please, the beautiful and epic story of the Lion King. I mean, the king of the jungle, the king of Disney is the Lion King. Please, okay. Fun fact: I read recently someone Facebook. Someone said that the Lion King was actually worked. It was the team that worked on the Lion King was actually Disney's Team B. Like Team B is it sounded like a second-handed team, like the pros, like the Team A, which were supposedly the pros, worked on Pocahontas because they expected Pocahontas to be the bigger movie, but somehow the Lion King turned out to be the bigger movie. Okay, well, I don't know how far that is true. All that is allegedly. Okay, so I really do not know. But however, I really love the Lion King and the story. Actually, I also read somewhere that the Lion King was inspired by Shakespeare's Hamlet. If you ever read Hamlet, it's about this prince whose father was killed by his father's brother. So his uncle, Hamlet's uncle. Hamlet's father was killed by his uncle, and his father appears to him like a ghost. His father's ghost appears to him and tells him to avenge his death because his uncle killed him. And Hamlet listens to his father's ghost. And the only difference is that at the end of Hamlet, I think Hamlet is a tragedy and everyone dies at the end. I mean, the king dies, the queen dies, Hamlet dies, Hamlet's girlfriend Ophelia dies, so it's really, really sad towards the end. And in The Lion King, Simba doesn't die at the end. He's actually victorious. He overthrows his uncle and retains back the jungle from his uncle. So yeah, it's a really beautiful, epic story. Each time I watch The Lion King, it always almost brings me to tears, especially when Mufasa dies. Like, oof, that particular scene is really, it's like my most emotional Disney moment or my most emotional animated movie moment. Like when Mufasa dies in The Lion King, it's really, really sad. Yeah, and like I said earlier, the Lion King remake, which came out in 2019, is like the highest grossing Disney movie of all time. I think it grossed more than $1.6 billion at the worldwide box office, so it was a really huge success. Despite all the criticisms it received, it still performed very well at the box office. So yes, that was it for my top 10 animated movies and honorary mentions of all time. Okay, so if your favorite movies are in the list, please let me know in the comment section. If they're not, please let me know still. Okay, and tell me what you think about my top 10 list. Okay, yeah, so that was it for today. Hope you enjoyed the talk. I hope to see you next time. Stay tuned. Bye.